All right, teachers, before we get started with the students in the classroom, if anyone has an issue signing into something on their iPad, we're going to need you to email help with their first and last name, what grade level, and where they had an issue. So they couldn't log into iCloud or they couldn't log into Google Drive, things like that nature. And we will circle back to those as fast as we can. All right, guys, let's get started setting up your iPads. We are going to need to sign into all of those important accounts and get our iPad set up and ready for learning. The first thing you're going to do, which you may have already been prompted on your iPad, is to change your passcode. If you have a pop-up on your iPad right now that says change passcode, go ahead and click that button that says change passcode. If you don't have that pop-up, no big deal. What we're going to do is go into settings. Inside of settings, you're going to scroll on this left-hand side until you see Touch ID and passcode. When I click Touch ID and passcode, the first thing we're going to do is turn passcode on. We recommend you use your lunch number, so let's go ahead and enter that. Then I'm going to enter it one more time. So now that passcode has been added, now we want to go ahead and turn on our fingerprint. So where it says iPad unlock, we're going to go ahead and turn that on. Now I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to hold it on the circle of the iPad. I'm not pushing the button, I'm just touching it with my finger. Up and down, up and down. Don't push the button, just rest your finger on it until the finger is completely red. Once the finger is completely red, it's going to pop up and it's going to ask you if you want to keep going. So we're going to press the big blue button, continue. Now we need to keep going. Rest your finger up and down until the entire finger turns red. All right, now that I've done that 2 times, I'm going to press continue again. My iPad has a passcode and my fingerprint. So now I have 2 ways to unlock it. So now that I've set up my passcode, let's press the home button to get back to the home screen. And you're going to look on your iPad until you see the ClassLink icon, which is a blue icon with a cloud. We're going to open that up. Where it says username, that is the first part of my email, my 333. That's everything before the @ symbol. Your password is your 6-digit lunch code with your capital first initial, capital last initial. Once you have those both filled out, make sure to turn on the Remember Me. This keeps me from having to log into ClassLink every single time. And then we're going to say sign in. And just like that, you can see that I have now signed in and I will have access to all of my apps. Now, one thing I do want to show you, if you're in an earlier grade, your teacher may have given you a quick card. They may have printed off a quick card. So instead of using our username and password, if you have a quick card that you're going to be scanning, you're going to click this little button down here that looks like a bunch of squares. And then you need to allow that camera. Now that the camera is up, I'm going to scan that QR code. And just like that, it's going to see the QR code and it's going to sign me in. So now we've signed into ClassLink. While we're in ClassLink, let me just remind everyone that the first time you sign into Seesaw, before you go to the app, you need to sign in through ClassLink. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to click that Seesaw button. So now it's asking me, do I want to sign into Seesaw? So let's click the Seesaw button. It will now open the app for me and sign me in with all of my classes ready to go inside of Seesaw. If you get a pop-up, go ahead and press allow. Now, this is going to sign me in the first time. After I've signed into Seesaw this way, I can just open the Seesaw app and I'm still going to be signed in. If you ever have issues where you can't find classes or things aren't working, you can always go back into ClassLink, sign back in. Okay, so let's go ahead and press the home button to get back to the home screen. So now we've signed into ClassLink, we've signed into Seesaw. All right, so the next thing I need to look for is Google Drive. It's a blue, yellow, and green triangle. When this pops up, we're going to press the button Sign In. If it asks you, you're going to press Continue. When this pops up, this is where you're going to have to enter in your whole email. Remember, your email is that 333 at k12.lcisd.net. All right, so now that I'm for sure have typed in the correct email, I'm going to press Next. Now it's asking me for my password. That's your 6-digit lunch number and your capital first initial, capital last initial. Now we're going to say Next and sign in. And just like that, it should go ahead and sign us in to Google Drive. What's nice is now that I've signed into Google Drive, this will also go ahead and sign me into Slides and any other Google app that's on my iPad. All right, let's press that home button one more time. The last thing that we need to make sure we sign into is iCloud. So I need you to find the Settings app. It's a gray icon that looks like a gear. We're going to open up Settings. Over here on the left-hand side, you can see mine just says Apple Account. I need that to say my name. So let's go ahead and click where it says Apple Account. And we're going to click the Sign In Manually. Now, just like we did in Google, we're going to enter that whole email, which is your 333 at k12.lcisd.net. Once you have your email entered, let's go ahead and press Continue. Continue one more time. Now, where it asks for your password, and don't worry, it says Microsoft. This is part of how we sign in. It's the same password we just entered, which is your 6-digit lunch number, capital first initial, capital last initial. Go ahead and click that sign in button. When this pops up, please say, don't show this again, and yes. This may take a minute for Apple to set everything up on my iPad, to pull all those settings in the way it needs to be, so just wait patiently. If this last screen pops up, this means you probably signed into an iPad before. That's that same 6-digit lunch number or 6-digit code you used on your last iPad. Again, we have to be patient. Let the iPad set up the settings, get iCloud set up, ready to go on my iPad. You will know you're successful when instead of the sign in, you will see your name. So mine says test 1. This is my test account. Yours should show your name in this top left corner. So now we have signed into all of the accounts that we need. Your teacher's going to take back over and let you know the next instructions you need to be doing with your iPad.